the Great Khali. Known for being mentioned in a Polo G song, the Great Khali is also known for his legendary career in the WWE. Considering he was there for almost a decade, had multiple returns, and was a champion, I feel like now he's starting to get the recognition he has earned. But I feel like this character is still a little overlooked. Today, we look at some of the greatest Great Khali contributions to wrestling. Signed to OVW and WWE in 2006, the Great Khali was born for the WWE, seemingly. He was this monster of a guy and spoke a different language with some English, which when you think about it, it probably made him scarier. Just imagine if you understood every single thing the Great Khali would say. I feel like he was just himself and it worked. After OVW, later on that year, the Great Khali debuted on an episode of SmackDown, which this year was filled with great moments. At this point, I believe the Great Khali was the tallest member of WWE in the 21st century. 2006 was a dominant year, to say the least. He debuted in the program against The Undertaker. He came down to the ring and was standing and imposing. He even got into a brawl with The Undertaker, where he hit a chop. Feuding with The Undertaker was just the start of 2006. Up next in the story, the segment is known for being legendary. Legendary and scaring the kids. Rey Mysterio had just been through a grueling match in 2007 versus Chavo Guerrero, where he was put through. Then you saw the Great Khali come down the ramp, ready to beat Rey Mysterio. He came down and seized the opportunity to put the vice grip on him. Rey hit a couple of drop kicks, and as the great Michael Cole said, he wasn't going to take this lying down. The vice grip was a deadly move where he squished his opponent's head similar to a melon. There was a point where Rey got picked up by this move, at least in story. The wildest part here is if this somehow happened in real life, I feel like it would actually work. Because that amount of pressure, I just feel like something would have to give. I'm actually curious now. Rey Mysterio started fading. As you kept watching though, the visual was getting turned up as blood started coming from pretty much every direction. Also, the Great Khali's theme during this time was low-key a bang. I'm not gonna fake, the song was menacing. Batista made the save and Rey was okay. From here on out, it pretty much only got better for Khali too. 2006 was a great rookie year. My boy was a monster giant, and this led him to 2007, where for a great chunk of the year, he was in WWE or World title picture. He started out 2007 by feuding with John Cena, who was a WWE champ at the time and one of his longest reigns. Shawn Michaels and John Cena were in a feud at the time, and Shawn Michaels was laid out backstage. When officials found him, he was bleeding and unconscious. The coach was the man in charge at the time, and did you guys see he's back in wrestling? Welcome back, coach. He was in charge of the show, and he was pinning the blame on John Cena. John was standing on business, pinned him against a wall, and stormed out. He went to the ring and was pissed. He called out whoever it was that did the attacks to the ring to come get some. You guys know who it was, right? He's over 7 feet tall. Did someone in the comments say Omos? Really though, it was a Great Khali. He took out John after John took the fight to him. One thing though, John Cena did get Khali up for the AA. Well, it was called something else back then, but he got him up on his shoulders, so he was capable. They eventually got to face off at Judgment Day, and John Cena, David and Goliath situation, and gave the Great Khali maybe his best match and won the match. The two feuded with John Cena, ending up coming with the W. So far though, the Great Khali was a monster though. He rivaled John Cena, The Undertaker, and was in the main event scene. The man on SmackDown was Edge. He was World Heavyweight Champion, but he got injured. He ended up getting real life injured and vacated the championship, which left a spot for the Great Khali to become World Champion. Being World Champion came with the Great Khali being the face of SmackDown for a time, and considering this was only a year and a couple of months into his career, this was a huge accomplishment. The Great Khali threw a little bit of a celebration in the ring before. Batista came out and JBL said maybe he wanted to come to dance with Khali, but he indeed was not there for that. Batista was pretty much out there to set up a one-on-one with the Great Khali. I also want to point out the Great Khali said no here and spoke in his language. The match was made official though, and the match was set for SummerSlam. He was pretty much dominant from this point on. He kept putting superstars out all the way until their SummerSlam match. Khali kept putting nerve holds on and dominated most of the match. Batista eventually picked up momentum with his spine buster and the comeback started. Was he gonna get the quote-unquote upset? The translator of Khali gave Khali a chair and he got disqualified, but he kept his world title. Batista eventually beat him though, and they even faced each other again in a Punjabi prison match. The Great Khali did do a lot of things like damage Batista along the way, but to put a long story short, pretty much this was one of his better rivalries, and this is pretty much where it ended. After this, the character pretty much started to shift, for better or for worse. I feel like if you're a comedy fan, maybe you might like it, but he started getting like funnier, and his character was still serious, but he just started implementing like more comedy into his routine. He had a great legacy by this point. Took out John Cena, took out Batista. He even has a video on YouTube where it's like, the Great Khali destroys legends. What do you guys think about this Great Khali run so far? The Great Khali was still involved in a lot of serious moments though. By the 2010s, he was out here doing more comedy things though. Beth Phoenix eliminated him from the Royal Rumble in 2010. That's pretty freaking historic. From here, he went on to do other things like have an eating contest against Titus O'Neil, team up with Hornswoggle, sing happy birthday to John Cena. He was doing all types of things, which goes to show how talented this character really was, because you could put him anywhere and it would work. John Cena started speaking the Great Khali's language. The Great Khali in 2010 wrestled this guy in a jersey And it was just moments like this that were really fun. He had some great matches with likes of Mark Henry. He did this commercial and he was still a serious character at times. There was a six-pack challenge going on, the WWE Championship, and Edge was going up against the Great Khali in a battle royal to earn the spot. Edge had already actually earned the spot, but he was like trying to keep it. And the Great Khali ended up eliminating himself. Michael Cole and Jerry just seemed to be in disagreement. Did he get eliminated or not? He did get eliminated by Edge though. The Great Khali, I mean, it was probably a habit stepping through the top rope. At the end of the day, Edge won. The Great Khali actually introduced us to Jinder Mahal. And back in 2007, he was feuding with Hornswoggle, which was Shane McMahon's little brother. And then in 2012, 2013, he was teaming with him. This was pretty interesting. Cesaro was always swinging the Great Khali. And whether you guys are a fan of the character of the Great Khali or not, this guy was a big draw. Just look at the views on each of his matches. Pretty much, the Great Khali also had a return in 2017 where he came back full circle with Jinder Mahal. He interrupted the Punjabi prison match and Randy Orton was distracted. To many, this may seem like just a random running, but to be honest, if you look back like 5 years before, the Great Khali was out here teaming with Jinder Mahal. And pretty much, this was the Great Khali's last big on-screen appearance. He had already left the company in 2014. This was a once-a-year appearance. He did show up again in the Greatest Royal Rumble the following year, but ultimately retired from wrestling in 2018. In total, my boy was monster heel, feuded with The Undertaker, feuded with John Cena, feuded with Batista, was world champion, did comedy on the side, and my boy was a legend. I'm curious to know now, how do you guys feel about the Great Khali in 2024? This man has paid his dues. What do you guys think? In total, guys, this is the end of the video. Like, subscribe, and comment. Do anything on my channel popping. I love you guys. Peace.